Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Good afternoon. For those of you who have never caught me live before, my name is Jewel, and I am a grateful recovering addict. I will celebrate 9 years clean in August of this year. Gonna go live with my brother-in-law Joe as soon as he gets on. We're going to read the gist for today, which is a good one. Carry me. You come here to say hello and wave to us. Hey Joe.
What's up, man? What's up?
Hey, is the screen clear on my side? It looks cloudy, but it might just be how the light's hitting it.
Nah, it looks pretty
Really?
foggy to
Okay,
me.
hold on.
Mine does too, though,
Well,
so
it
I don't
just
know.
might be because it's hot. Oh, that looks much better. There we go. That was definitely the problem. Ah, okay. Did you share this out?
Yeah, it's out.
So before I read the gist for the day, I
Yeah,
want,
it's better.
yeah, much better. I've been on the phone a lot on mine this morning because I had a website call, and it was really crazy because the girl that I spoke to, one of her friends posted a status about looking for a website designer, and someone else tagged me. And normally I just comment on the post, and I was like, no, I'm going to send her a message. So I sent her this message, and she was like, it's actually for a friend of mine. Can I send her your info? I was like, of course. So we got on the phone this morning. She lives in Easton, and she is a life coach, and she helps people with mental health and addictions. So I'm super excited, and I've already invited her to the events in August. We're going to get her website up. It was a really, it's always so crazy to me how these people just like show up. You know what I mean? Like just out of nowhere. Like, because she lives 20 minutes from me, I never knew her, you know? I didn't know about her business or what she offers. Um, and it's really cool because she's licensed and accredited. She can help people without charging them. She can charge their insurance. So that way she can still have a profitable business and make her money and still help people. So either way, it was really cool. I was really excited about it. So the just for today, May 29th, carry me. We believe that our higher power will take care of us. Basic text, page 58. We all have times when it seems as though our lives are falling apart. There are days or even weeks when it seems that everything can go wrong is going wrong. Whether it's the loss of a job, the death of a loved one, or the end of a relationship, we doubt that we'll survive the changes taking place in our lives. It's during the times when the world is crashing down around our ears that we find our greatest faith in a loving higher power. No human being could relieve our suffering. We know that only God's care can provide the comfort we seek. We feel broken, but we go on, knowing that our lives will be repaired. As we progress in our recovery and our faith in our higher power grows, we are sure to greet the difficult times with a sense of hope, despite the pain we may be in. We need not despair, for we know that our higher power's care will carry us through when we can't walk on our own. Just for today, I will rely on God's care through the painful times, knowing that my higher power will always be there. Hey, everybody, it's coming on. So,
You want
sure.
me to go first? All right. So anybody that doesn't know, I'm Joe. Um, and my thing is alcohol. Um, and I've struggled with it since I was about 15, 16 years old. Um, and by the time I was 19, it became aware that I had an issue and I couldn't quit, and it just started to take control of my life. I started getting in trouble, started doing shit that um, I probably would have thought twice about. Um, just feeding that bad energy, feeding that type of lifestyle that I wanted to live that I thought was cool at the time, and then flash forward, 15 years later, I'm 30, I got two girls, and that lifestyle does not appeal to me anymore. So when talking about how we might feel broken and we might feel like, life is getting the best of us, or, we're stressing out, just try to keep in perspective about how far you've came. It's easy to be so
Right.
obsessed with the now that our little problem can become so big that we become ungrateful, and we don't realize how far we've came. Just take a look back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I can remember being a senior in high school, and my mom was never home. Me and my brother were drinking all the time. She was, smoking crack, doing whatever, and it seemed fun at the time, but it led
Right.
to my downfall. I I made a lot of poor choices, and at the time, it felt like a party because I felt like, hey, I'm not getting in
Right.
trouble. Uh, all these people fuck with me. I got all these friends. Everybody fucks with me. If I go to the trailer park, everybody fucks with me. If I go to Washington Park, everybody fucks with me. If I, you know, and I liked the lifestyle that I was living. I liked having people that, you know, respected me, and people that fuck with me, and it felt like I had my life together. I always had money. I always had cars. I always
Right.
had everything I needed. Um, Me and my brother started getting close, but as time went on, I, I became a problem. It wasn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I started blacking out all the time and doing stupid shit, and I feel like I lowered my self respect, and I lowered the respect. The way people saw me. Sometimes I feel like I changed that because you become a fucking clown. When you're drunk all the time and you're blacking out all the time, um, you become the joke.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where it wasn't even I was a joke anymore. It got to the point where I was dangerous, and I was unpredictable, and it's just so when I think about something small that might be bothering me now, I try to think back to one of those old bad
Right.
memories that I have of something stupid I did, you know, crashing my car in the Chester River Bridge, in the water and almost drowning. Um, I think about blacking out and getting in fistfights with my brother and waking up with a black eye and a busted hand and him being pissed off at me for a week. I flash back to times where I cussed my wife out and left and didn't come home for a night. You know what I mean? It's like I think about how stabilized my life is now, and I can't let anything bother me today that it's
Right.
just not big enough. There's nothing that's gonna come up that's big enough
You
to
know,
take me down. As long as my daughters are healthy and my wife is healthy and my family's doing okay, I don't really. There's nothing else that's that big.
I was concerned about you when your mother died because it would have been much easier to crack open a beer than it would have been to deal with that loss. So I was so, so proud of you when you got through that because I like that was a real concern of mine. Like every morning when I got up, like, okay, what's Joe and Shiver doing today? Like they should come over or we need to go down there because I knew that being around everybody would make it easier for you not to want to drink. And I know that it would have been one of those things where nobody would have blamed you. You know what I mean? Nobody would have faulted you for that. It's just like when I spoke yesterday about the young lady we met at the beach, about her losing her 9-month-old daughter and drinking. Like, I don't blame her for that. You know what I mean? That's a loss that I don't ever want to experience that I can't even grasp what that felt like to her. So it's, these things come up in life and it's like it's sometimes when you're looking at the scenario when you experience a loss or you go through a tragedy you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as, well, I can take the easy way out and I can just numb everything and not feel it and just get through it that way, or I can man up and deal with what's being put in front of me. I can breathe through the tragedy and I can work through it. I think that's part of why I'm so emotional now because for so many years I numbed everything and I didn't feel anything. So now I like feel everything and it's like times 100 because things that like TV, okay, there's shows I can't watch without crying or movies or whatever. Or we'll be watching something and your brother looks at me and be like, "Really?" I'm like, "I just can't help it anymore." But I really like this one, and I think that it would have been a really good one for me to read last week because of everything that being stuck last week the way I was, letting every little thing stress me out, and it's like I told Shara last night, um, going to the Paw Patrol Live, I was like stressed about money and, being able to buy the kids things and stuff like that. And like I said my affirmations all day yesterday. Like every time I felt something, I would be like, I can do anything for 21 days. I can create anything I want. Just the affirmations that I come up with, well, that our group came up with the other night. And it really helped me. And at the end of the day, everything was fine. I mean, Russell didn't like it, but aside from that, we had gas to go. We were able to buy stuff there. We came home, everything was fine. So I just think we do feel more. And I think it's part of being a mom too. I'm torn between, is it because I'm clean now or is it because I'm a mom that I'm over emotional?
Yeah, for me, it's having two daughters. It definitely softened me up.
Yeah. And it's so funny to watch you with, like, I mean, I haven't got to see you with Riley yet, but to watch you with Layana sometimes, I can't help but chuckle because it's like this is why you have two girls. This was God's way of softening you around the edges. Because you're rough with the boys, and not that there's an issue with that, but it's just I don't know, it always makes me giggle when I watch you with the with Leon.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't have a son because I feel like if I had a boy, I would be like so controlling and like
Yeah,
overbearing, and I feel like I feel like I would have been a lot like my grandfather and my mom's dad, and like he, it's like he had good intentions. He wanted you to be disciplined. He wanted you to work hard. He wanted you to bust your ass. He wanted you to achieve. He didn't want you
right.
to be a failure. But like to a child, it's like
Yeah.
overwhelming as
Yeah,
fuck. You
it's
know
a
what I
lot.
mean? And I feel like if I had a boy, I probably would have probably did the same way because I felt like, hey, it made me tough. It made me disciplined. It made me dedicated. So if it worked for me, maybe it'll work for him. But having a girl, it's like I really can't. I feel like I
Right.
can't be that way. You know what I mean? I feel like she'll do something and I'll get mad at her and then I'll feel bad like
Right.
5 minutes later. So I don't.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'm glad that it makes my life less stressful when I'm not, pissed off or edgy all the time.
It's funny. So, does anybody have anything they want to talk about?
But just keep in mind, if and I'm a big fan of writing shit down. Like if you go through a spell where you feel like you're overwhelmed, do a gratitude list. Write down 10 things you're grateful for. Um, and then write down 10 bad memories from your past that you're no longer living in. And it'll put the shit in perspective and it'll make you realize like, man, this shit ain't that bad. Like, I don't know.
No, it does, and it's something about the act of writing it out versus just saying it or thinking it or typing it in your phone. It's something different when you put the pen to the paper. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. You're a lot of people think that they can't use the same tools that they used when they were in high school or college or middle school. It's like that shit
Right,
applies to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like a teacher might teach a lesson, you might not understand it. Then he might teach the lesson again the next day and you take notes and you go home and read the notes and you might
right,
sort of get it. And then he gives you a practice assignment and you take your notes in the practice assignment and you actually try it. And then you're like, okay,
right.
I got it now. And you can do the same thing with your life. Never stop being a student of life. You can always be a student of life. As long as you're breathing, you're always going to be a student of life. And being a student of life means you always want to excel. You always want to exceed your expectations. You always want to like try to do more and try to accomplish more. So like I always tell people have short-term goals and long-term goals. Write something down that you think you can get done in this in today. Then write down something that you can get done this week. Write down something that you can get done this month. And then write down something you can get done in a year and just keep doing that.
I put the link to our YouTube channel for anybody that's interested. I don't have much to say. I feel like this one was short and sweet and to the point. I could read tomorrow's.
I mean, I can talk about this topic. We might as well stay on point. Josh said he tries to focus on keeping his cool. It's an everyday struggle. Maybe it's not the day or the circumstance stressing us out. Maybe it's our attitude, our patience, our tolerance, and our
Yeah.
response. And that's what I'm saying about being a student of life. Like I'm kind of a I guess I'm kind of a hothead, but
Mm.
it takes you got to push me
Yeah.
far. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
push me real far. But for Josh, it's like he's a split second.
It,
Like he don't even think. You know what I mean?
he's gotten a lot better though.
My brother, my brother's the type of person where he was right to the action. He's not about no bullshit. And I tried to explain to him for years and years, like, man, you're just stressing yourself out.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Not everything deserves a response or a reaction or a confrontation or a fight. You know, let some shit slide.
Yeah, when we went to Paw Patrol last night, there was a family sitting next to us. And when I went to sit down, one of them was sitting in one of our seats. And I was like, okay. And I was just going to sit in the seat next to him. And the guy was like, can you sit down a seat or two? Or like we can switch seats or something. And I was like, I mean, the show had already started. So I was like, oh, just sit down. But then after like the intermission or whatever, they come back and sit back down where they were, and he's steady staring at him. And I'm like, "Are you done? Like, can you stop now? Are you finished?" And he's like, "No, that stuff burns me up, mad." And I get it, because I was mad too. Like, you're already sitting in my seat, and now you're like telling me where to sit. Like, and I don't know. It's like I said to him, his son could have been autistic, or maybe his son isn't used to being in public. Could have been 100 reasons why he had asked me that. Um, the way he said it could have definitely been better, but it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't the end of the world. But 6 years ago, your brother would have snapped instantly. You know what I mean? And to be able to see him sit there, and even though he was mad, and even though he wanted to say something, he didn't. He kept it together.
Right. And I always told him too, man, it's like if nobody can if somebody has an issue with you or somebody does something that bothers you, raise your level a little bit. Let it go for a little while. To me, it's like I feel like as long as you don't disrespect my kids or threaten my space or approach me face to face with some bullshit or put your hands on me, I can let anything else go because nothing else is
Right.
that big of a deal.
I gotta get out of this car. It's hot in here. I don't sit with the AC on like you do, because I don't have to keep my phone cool like that.
I know I've been supposed to be getting this update
I know. I
forever.
keep waiting for it.
I'm just not a phone guy, man. I don't give a fuck about a phone. As long as I can listen to music,
Right.
I don't give a damn.
Let's see. Sam said, yes, it's crazy. I've started writing a lot and it's helped so much with my anger. I can get it out and think about it. And then most of the time I realized it wasn't worth it to be mad in the first place. And that's how it goes. If we, and it's good that you write it down because that gives you more time to think about it. Whereas, like, if you're in the situation and you're face to face or whatever, and you respond, even if it's like over the phone, you're not taking that extra time to really think about what the issue is and how are you going to respond to it. So it's really good that you write it down. Lord, I can't even imagine how Matthew would act. He wouldn't know what to say or do. So,
Oh, I want to share too. It was kind of funny seeing the world work in like a big circle. So anybody that don't know, we've been talking about we've been talking a lot about being mindful about what you say
yeah.
to other people. Um, kind of relates to this topic as well. Um, what you allow to get a response out of you, and I really harped on because I'm in the clean and sober group. It's a huge fucking group, so there's a lot of good and bad to cipher through in that group. Um, the admin I think is great. I think it's Drew Hicks is one of the admins, and his lives are real good. He seems like a real kind, loving person. I feel like he does his stuff
Yeah.
from a good place. Um, but there's a lot of times when people do stuff in the group, they go live or they write a post, and um, people are just so quick to just create a witch hunt or a lynch mob and just get in the comments and just go to
Right.
war with these people. And so it's so funny that I was saying that, and I talked about the what ifs, like if it really bothers you, go to the admin, message that person privately, all this type of shit. And I seen a video the other day, and the guy on the video, it was last night. I happened to be up late, and the guy got in the video, and it was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was definitely fucked up. Um, and then he proceeds to actually pull out drugs on the video, or a baggie that had some type of residue in it or something. And I'm watching it like, man, this guy's fucking unbelievable. I'm not saying nothing because, like I said,
Right.
man, it's not my place. But I'm watching it just to see where this guy's going with this shit. I didn't know if he was like struggling and reaching out, and it was like a cry for help, or if he was just being an asshole, or what was going on. And so I can't really make out nothing he's saying. He's kind of all over the place. But as I'm watching the video, it disappears.
Right.
Imagine that. I didn't add fuel to the fire by getting in the comments and telling this guy, you got a lot of fucking nerve, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it don't bother me anyway, but I'm sure it did bother a lot of
Right.
people that watched it. But I didn't. I just sat there kind of seeing like where it was going to go. And before I knew it, the video was gone. It disappeared. And there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it didn't have to get messy. I didn't have to push that guy any further. He's already probably obviously having a bad time. If he's still using drugs, he's
Right.
worse off than we are. You know what I mean? And the video disappeared, So like I said, man, if something bothers you on the video, you don't gotta feed into it. Just let it go. If it bothers you that bad, tell the admin that, hey, this makes us uncomfortable, and this is not a good look for the page and all that, and he'll take care of it. I can guarantee it. And if he doesn't take care of it, then maybe he knows a little more about the
Right.
person than you do. Because he's very active in the group. And I have nothing but good things to say about the group because number one, it's huge. It's
I'm at
55,000
50
people.
now. Yeah.
They do a lot of good. They do a lot of good shit, and it's like I always say, you get what you look for. You can harp on his video, which is gone now, or you can look at the video that Drew does. You can look at the video that Carl does. You can look at the video that a lot of other women do in the video. I've seen a lot of women go into videos and do
Yeah.
really good videos. They all feel like open
Yeah.
meetings in a way. So just find the good ones. You know what I mean? Over the course of time, you'll be like, okay, I like this girl's videos. I like this guy's videos. And then you'll whenever they pop on, you go watch their video and stay off the page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go to what you like and leave the rest of the shit.
It's like taking it back old school. Like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And if you enjoy the
Right.
videos, make sure you tell the people that are doing them, because none of us get paid to get on here and do these videos. We do it to help ourselves. We do it to help others. It's all about helping the community. So let them know that you appreciate their time and their efforts, because they could easily be doing other things.
So anybody that's watching, if you're having a hard time, I suggest that you do a gratitude list. That's part of the maintenance. Cover talk about maintenance. Progressing in life is all about maintenance. It's easy for us to get stale and get complacent and passive and just kind of go through the motions. And you don't want to live life going through the motions. You did that in your addiction for life.
Yeah. And if you're struggling, feel free to reach out to
So,
us. You know, if you need help, if you need a reminder. I had a girl yesterday message me who isn't in recovery. But I had messaged her and she responded back and just said that she had been, you know, really depressed and been going through a lot. And I shared my affirmations with her and I said to her, you know, something you can do to kind of help recenter yourself is write a gratitude list. Remember why you're doing all these things that you're doing, you know? It's simple things that we can do to bring ourselves back to the center. It's just you have to be diligent about doing them. You have to remember to do them because I feel like it's easy to just be mad and pissed off or depressed or sad and mad at the world. But you don't want to stay there. You don't enjoy that time, you know?
right.
I certainly don't. So,
All right, well, let's wrap this shit up so I can get my workout in and go home.
all right, guys. So I shared the YouTube channel. Please feel free to subscribe to it. We have a whole lot of videos on there. So if you ever need a message or a meeting, I mean, you can definitely utilize those. I also put the link to our Breaking the Chains community group as well as our March into Recovery page, which is our event page. Excuse me. And then I also put the Midshore Restoring Hope and Women page, which is the local nonprofit that we're raising money for this year. Our next event coming up to anybody that might be local is in Chestertown, Maryland on August 3rd. It's called Breaking the Chains. We are selling t-shirts for the event. They say Breaking the Chains on the front, and on the back they say in loving memory of Wendy Hewitt. You can have the name changed if you want, or you can take it off all the way altogether. And all the money raised from the shirts is going to Midshore Restoring Hope and Women as well. So if you want a shirt, just comment t-shirt and I can send you more information. And as we always say, if you need help, if you're struggling, feel free to reach out to us. You can send us a friend request, a message, and follow our videos. Thanks for watching on Wendy Wednesday. I forgot to put that in the description. So
All right, y'all. So you want to go live what, Friday? Maybe
Fridays
Saturday?
is a really good one. So if we could go Friday, that would be good.
All right, we'll go Friday and we'll
Yeah,
take
the
the
only
weekend
thing I
off.
have Friday is I have a meeting at 2. So as long as we can do it. Okay.
It'll be before then.
All right, guys. We'll see you Friday. Have a good day.